Hello, friends. Over the years, as you know, maybe in my entire lifetime, I have focused on consciousness, the brain, the heart problem, what is fundamental reality, are we an illusion, is the world an illusion, etc., etc. And I've said this in many ways, uh, in innumerable formats. So I feel kind of strange going over the same material again and again. But every time I do it with a different vocabulary or understanding, my own understanding increases. And I share it with you, not to convince you that my understanding is correct, but there are a lot of people who have the same passion as I do. So I do this in the hope that what is increasing my capacity for clarity will also help you or increase your capacity for clarity. Maybe, maybe not. So I have used this model, this phrase, multimodal qualia experience, over and over. That life is a continuum of multimodal entangled qualia experiences. So today I'm going to try and summarize what this means. Here's the core concept. What we call qualia are the personal, incommunicable qualities of experience, like the redness of a rose, or the bitterness of coffee, or the smell of garlic, or anything like that. That's very personal. You know what it is, but you can't describe it. Multimodal refers to multiple channels. Sight, you're experiencing that right now. Sound, you're experiencing that right now. Touch, you can experience that any moment. Taste, smell, emotion, and thought. So, multimodal refers to multiple channels blending in real time to form what we call unified perceptions. I view this as the brain's role, not generating consciousness, but acting as a conduit when non local consciousness projects these qualia into coherent reality. Of course, my roots are in non dual consciousness, but the brain itself is a multimodal qualia experience on the screen of formless awareness. This, of course, challenges classical scientific materialist views that credit the brain alone. All reality is subjective. How can it not be? No objective world exists outside these qualia or these qualia interactions. And of course, this also enables empathy through qualia resonance between people. A few examples: a walk in nature. Greens, hue, bird song, floral scent, and breeze create an immersive whole which is greater than parts. And I like it that today technology is allowing us to experience immersive experiences as well. Then there's memory trigger. A smell evokes emotions, showing cross modal blending. You smell baking bread, you remember your mother, you remember your childhood, etc., etc. Art. Musicians mix sounds and textures to stir feelings, shaping shared meaning. So, this awareness fosters mindfulness, allowing one to alchemize. You become the alchemist of reality by consciously mixing qualia. For me, non local consciousness does not generate qualia the way a machine outputs data. Qualia, what non local consciousness looks like when it modulates itself into experience. Here are some key ideas. Consciousness is fundamental, non-local, means not in space-time. Consciousness is an indivisible field, not bound by space or time, and not produced by the brain. This universal field is the ontological primitive from which all experiences rise. Qualia, therefore, are expressions of this field. Colors, sounds, sensations, thoughts, emotions, even time and space are qualia. Subjective qualities within consciousness, not properties of an external, independent, physical or matter world. In this sense, qualia are the units or modes in which non-local consciousness presents itself. There's self-interaction and self-organization of consciousness also. So because consciousness is all there is, it can only interact with itself. As it interacts with itself, qualia patterns emerge and self-organize through conscious feedback loops, evolving into physical bodies, minds, worlds, and histories. Each of these is a complex, layered program of qualia. So, fundamental reality is a field of infinite potential, or let's say infinite potential of qualia generation that exist in superposition before they manifest, analogous to quantum states. When this field vibrates, and in Sanskrit that vibration was called spanda, or when this field collapses into specific configurations, distinct experiences, this taste, that emotion, this body, appear as particular arrangements of qualia. So, in my model, non-local consciousness is a field of infinite potential experiences as it dynamically vibrates and interacts with itself. As it does that, it differentiates into streams of organized qualia that we call my body, my mind, and the world. What you live as seeing, hearing, thinking, and feeling is the non-local field localizing itself through qualia pattern. And these we call your nervous system, my nervous system. And actually, the activity is ceaseless. And it is always in an ever ceasing, one limitless consciousness. As Schrödinger said, consciousness is a singular that cannot be divided. So in this model that I'm sharing with you, birth and death do not create or end consciousness. They mark shifts in how an always present field of awareness configures itself as experience. Birth is a localization of non-local consciousness. So birth is infinite awareness narrowing into a particular body mind. The infinite vast becomes the personal. A newborn is a new, unique configuration of qualia, sensations, images, feeling, thoughts, organized against a specific biological system and life story potential. What we call a person is this localized qualia pattern, not a new separate consciousness added to the universe. So across a lifespan, you, or what we call being, you are an evolving qualia matrix, an intermittent stream of sensations, images, feelings, thoughts, continuously self-organizing. Identity, name, roles, biography is a narrative the mind lays over the changing qualia stream. The underlying awareness itself remains unchanged and is always non-local. An illustration is the same screen. Awareness shows many movies, lifetimes, phases. The characters appear and change, but the screen is unaffected. Death does not annihilate consciousness. It's a transition or rearrangement of qualia within an infinite field, not the end of that field. So I've always maintained that consciousness does not begin with birth nor end with death. These moments only mark changes in its configuration. Death is the release of constricted person-centered awareness back into pure formless awareness, the dissolving of the localized pattern into the universal field. What continues is not the person's ego, but patterns of karma, memory, and desire, software, that give rise to further localized experiences akin to new logins, when you log in fresh, the same field. This view aligns with reincarnation and near-death experiences and near-death narratives. Consciousness is primary, using bodies as temporary interfaces rather than being produced by them. There's a lot of practical implication of this. So fear of death softens. If you are non-local awareness, it is impossible for you to die in the absolute sense. Only a particular qualia configuration ceases. Ethics deepens. All beings are localized expressions of the same field, which supports compassion, empathy, reverence for life. Each moment of life becomes a sacred, unrepeatable arrangement of qualia in an eternal, beginningless, endless process. So, this is a summary of what we could call the multimodal qualia entanglement theory. Answers every question about our existence. I have expressed these views multiple times, but most completely, most concisely in my book, Metahuman. Aham Brahmasmi. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma.